Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our review of She-Hulk episode 1. I am Rizvo, joined by my co-host Nebula, and we are going to be going into episode 1 of She-Hulk in this review, and we're asking the question, is it that bad? The answer, of course, is it's worse than you could possibly imagine. I didn't expect it to be this bad. I didn't expect it to be this heavy-handed and basically just feminist propaganda. But it was. I expected a really boring first episode that introduced the characters and started to set up her origin, where we'd see her change into the Hulk by the end of the episode and maybe set up some kind of protagonist. But that's not what we got at all. What were your impressions of the first episode?
So I knew that it was gonna be bad and that it wasn't gonna be good, but wow, like if you thought that Captain Marvel was bad, this just takes it to an incredible new level.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I mean, you basically have here, um, what is it called? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess that's what they call it, and then it turns into Captain America and the Winter Soldier by the end of the series. You have that and all of its political messaging on steroids, unleashed in this feminist craze that is She-Hulk. And this just is going to bombard your eyes and your ears throughout this 30-minute episode, accompanied by 7 minutes of credits. I don't know how they're still getting away with this after over a year of product on Disney Plus. I think. I'm kind of fuzzy on their timeline now. But, wow. I wanted to go through the episode, talk through it, and point out a couple things and what we expect to see for the rest of it. Honestly, everything that we saw here was pretty much 80% of all of the trailers. So where we go from here for the other 8 remaining episodes is pretty much a mystery. We know we're going to see Daredevil, Abomination. She's going to go work for another law firm since they know she's a lawyer and a superhero, blah, blah, blah. Wow, I don't know how we're going to endure 8 more episodes.
Yeah, 8 more episodes
Of that, accompanied by 7 minutes of credits for each one. Wow, what a waste of space.
So we're gonna talk about it a little bit, and then we're gonna get into spoilers.
Oh yeah.
And talk through.
Oh yeah. I don't imagine there's gonna be a lot of people out there that don't want this pile of steaming pile of garbage.
Yeah, please let us spoil it.
Don't watch this,
and then cancel your Disney subscription.
Unless you are heavily drunk or hanging out with friends, that you're gonna have a good time laughing at this. I saw a lot of reviews coming out calling this a comedy before it released from reviewers that they got a 4-episode preview. They got to watch 4 episodes of it to give a review for it before it came out to boost up those numbers. You know what I'm saying? And they called it a comedy.
Like a good comedy?
Yeah. Oh, they gave it really good reviews. So
they have to because it's a female.
I guess so. Well, we were laughing our butts off because of how incredibly stupid this show is.
Yeah.
In particular, this first episode. It wastes absolutely no time getting into Jen's origin story, and she is the Hulk, I believe, 3 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
3 or 4 minutes into this episode. You see her at her lawyer firm, and then she starts breaking the fourth wall, talking to the audience, saying, "Oh, I'm the Hulk," basically, And it all started a few months ago when I was hanging out with my cousin Bruce, and they're on this road trip. Oh my gosh, he's telling her some story about how he's not Professor Hulk anymore. I don't know why they don't call him Professor Hulk. He
Yeah.
refers to himself as Smart Hulk, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. The writers knew it was the dumbest thing that they'd ever written down,
Yeah.
besides some of the jokes in this film or in this episode. And they get you get this meta feeling of them explaining how stupid their own script is. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know it's a stupid name. I didn't come up with it. But you just referred to yourself as Smart Hulk. What are you talking about? You can't. You referred to yourself as that. You don't have to call yourself that, and you just did. Oh, somebody else came up with it. Really, Hulk? Who came up with it? Who? Who came up with the name Smart Hulk? Somebody. Somebody else did.
It's
Somebody
funny.
else called me that. That's my name now.
There's it's so bad, and they know it's bad. And in this first episode, I can think like right off the top of my head like 3 different times where they specifically like say, "Yes, this is dumb. I know it," because they know
Yeah.
that it's terrible.
That's how bad the writing is.
Yeah.
Is they just have to go, oh, I know it's
Yeah,
stupid,
by
but we're in a
acknowledging
silly
it.
superhero show, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, can you do you remember that happening in Captain America: Winter Soldier or Avengers: Infinity War? Do you remember them being like, yeah, I know it's stupid, but we're in a breaking the fourth wall. I know it's stupid, but we're in a dumb superhero movie, so it doesn't matter. Turn your brain off and just enjoy it. Consume the product. Yikes.
It's so bad.
The characters. So who do we have as characters? We have Jen, whatever her last name is.
Yeah.
Walters. Jen Walters? I don't know what it is. Then we have
Sounds
Bruce.
right.
Those are the only 2 characters introduced in the first episode.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have a friend.
There's a friend. I don't think we ever
Nikki?
hear her name. Oh,
Nikki,
yeah.
maybe. And then all of the male oppressors of Jen
It
that
starts-
we see throughout the episode.
We should just start going through it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's hard.
Because-
It's hard to not skip over that part because the show literally opens up with somebody mansplaining
Yeah.
to her.
So I was super confused because I was like, he's
Thank
in the
God
background.
for subtitles, right?
Huh?
Thank God for subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. I was super confused because at first I thought I was just confused because she's talking and then there's like a man in the background saying like, "Oh, you're
Criticizing her.
stupid."
Yeah. So he says like, "Oh, it's way too wordy. Her monologue is too wordy, and she needs to smile more."
Yeah.
Which is kind of silly because when you're trying to connect in this scenario, they're trying to connect with the jury. You don't want to smile more. If you're testifying, you want to smile.
Right.
If you're defending somebody as their lawyer, you don't want to. You want to be sincere.
We can actually have the
Sitting
light
there.
on. I'm gonna turn that on.
We just need a lamp.
We don't have that kind of budget. So the first 30 seconds, she is told that she's a lawyer,
That
so
she needs
she's
to smile.
supposed to.
Dude, they fit smile more.
Yeah,
Into
in
the,
the
first
first
30,
30
seconds of this show.
Yep.
And we basically looked at each other and we're like, buckle up because this is going to
It'll be a
be the
good
ride
time.
pretty much. So basically, he's sitting there criticizing her, and her friend Nikki, I believe, I'm just going to call her Nikki. I think that's her name.
She's Nikki now.
Is hyping her girl up. She's like, OMG, you're going to slay. Oh my God, you're amazing. You're going to absolutely kill it. Everything you did was super perfect. And then Jen looks at the camera and she starts breaking the fourth wall to explain her backstory.
Yeah.
And that goes
such a
into
good backstory.
Oh my gosh. I can't, when I saw the trailers and they were showing this stuff, hinting at it because they released a promotional clip that was 1 minute some long of the car ride and the conversation, like the entire car ride and the accident, they pre-released in a promotional to hype up the show.
Interesting.
So her entire origin is released in a promo. Can you imagine fitting Spider-Man's origin into promote a 1 minute promotional. Like that's how we're doing our superheroes now. Miss Marvel, she opened a box and found bracelets in it. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
she became a superhero.
Yeah. I actually watched the first episode of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was fun. It was nowhere near as like, oh man. This makes
This
that look
first
so
episode
good.
versus that first
Yeah.
episode, yeah.
Oh man.
So you go into her origin story. She's in a car ride with Bruce. Where are they going? I don't know. I don't know where
Oh.
they're going.
Oh. I guess they're just chilling.
Maybe they're
hanging out.
going to the resort or where.
Well, no, because they're
just driving in the country.
Yeah, they're not going there because that's like his Hulk oasis.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So he's explaining to Jen that he's made an inhibitor device, a bracelet that is keeping him in human form. So his arm is still broken or useless from using the Infinity Stones, and he's in normal human form. Of course, we know that this is the case just so he can get injured and bleed because a spaceship. This is how we're doing origin stories.
So they're driving along.
Yeah. Oh
Just
no, the conversation.
Oh,
The
yeah.
conversation that they're having during their car ride
It's so
is
bad.
about how Captain America is a virgin.
Yeah.
Bro never got it on.
Man.
And she's deduced this
Depressing.
from watching the History Channel.
Yeah. The History Channel actually said that Captain America was a virgin.
Yeah.
And that he never had a girlfriend until he became Captain America.
Yeah.
Cause,
Wow.
Because women are shallow.
How did they know that? Yeah, women were shallow. They were
Kind of backfired on
yeah,
him there.
Yeah, they were pretty into Captain America once he hulked up, or once he beefed up. So they weren't into that kind personality, I guess. Man, women really be out here saying that they just want a sweet guy with a good personality. Lies. How do you
False.
expect? How do you explain Steve Rogers? Captain America couldn't even get some. We'll probably have to cut that. So this is the conversation that we're having. It's super. Let me just say, Jen is one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah.
In Marvel for sure. I really do think Captain Marvel is more annoying than her. But Jen is given more material to mess up in this one episode than Captain Marvel is in her entire movie.
Yeah.
She will not shut up. She talks so fast, and she's sitting there woman-splaining to her cousin about someone that she's never met and known that is a close friend of Bruce's was in fact a virgin. And
Yeah.
Bruce is sitting there going, no, it's not, like, okay, whatever you think, but that's not true. Anyway, this is the dumbass conversation that we're having. When a spaceship flies in front of their Ford Escape, and like a woman, what does she do? She drives off the
crashes.
road. She crashes instantly. Really good awareness and road skills. She's not looking at the road at all. She's talking about Steve Rogers, Captain America, being a virgin and doesn't see the spaceship flying in front of her. Drives off of the road, crashes, terrible crash. She crawls out of the wreckage, goes to help Bruce, because of course she does.
He can't do anything. But
Cuts the crap out of her wrist, her arm. If she punctured her artery, she's hella dead. She goes around, helps him, unbuckles him somehow, pulls him out. He's mumbling. He's like, "Oh, Jen, the inhibitor, get away! I'm gonna turn." And he's monologuing that he's bleeding.
Yeah.
And
So
within
he
20
knew.
seconds. Go ahead.
He knew. Well, finish
Within
what
20
happened.
seconds, he's bleeding. He's bleeding out from somewhere. We think it's his head. He's bleeding from his head, and he bleeds directly into this fresh wound that Jen has cut into her arm, and she instantly turns into the Hulk.
Like, instant.
Instantly, as soon as the blood touches her arm, and leaks into her body, because Neb, you know how cuts work. When you cut your arm, blood goes in when it
Yeah,
falls on
yeah.
there. It doesn't gush out.
Right.
Blood doesn't gush
Well,
out.
it will,
Blood
but
gushes
if
in.
you just like lift your arm a little bit, gravity, your blood
gravity
just sucks back in.
Yeah, the blood will go back into your arm.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Gaping wound. Just if you're losing blood, just pour more blood into the wound, and then you'll be fine. You're good to go. So she turns into the Hulk, runs into the woods,
Yes, indeed.
and then we flash to the next scene.
Yeah.
The next scene, she wakes up in the woods. Doesn't know where she is. She walks out. She just runs into the woods. She happens to be right next to a town,
Yeah.
and she
course.
walks into this town. Where does she go? To the bar, the only place that's open.
Yep.
Except for that hardware store, it kind of looks like it's open. So immediately as she walks up to this place, I say she's about to be harassed by a group of men, and she's going to turn into the Hulk to beat them up. Sure enough, this is
Factual
exactly
statement.
what's going to happen in a few moments. This show is ridiculously predictable.
Oh, but
in fact, you
before-
could not predict how stupid this is.
Okay, so let me take for a second.
Yeah.
So she, she wakes up. She doesn't know what happened. Last thing she remembers is she got in a crash. Right? She was with Bruce, and then all of a sudden she was gone. So she wakes up and she goes to this bar. Instead of going and asking someone for a phone, or getting a payphone, or talking to anybody, asking them where she is. She's like sneaks into there.
Yeah, she sneaks into the bar
Yeah.
for some reason.
As if she's like a fugitive,
Right.
and then goes into the bathroom to like try to clean up because she
Yeah.
has like a little bit of blood on her, but like it's not. She hurt herself.
Right, she has no injuries because she's turned into the Hulk. She's
right.
fine.
Oh, right. Yeah. So she just has like
her
a little
clothes
bit
are
of,
dirty.
Yeah, her clothes
Yeah.
are dirty. So that's why she sneaks into the bathroom.
So she goes into the bathroom. She's like, "What in the hell is going on?" She's trying to scrub up a little bit, and then the crew shows up. A group of women show up into the bathroom. They're like, "OMG, girl! Whoever did this to you, he ain't worth it." Oh my goodness, right? Because
Or she or they.
yeah, or she or no. You're right. So.
Sorry, her or them.
Yeah, her or them don't deserve you. Oh my goodness. So I don't get what the point of this scene is. They try to hype her up a little bit.
It's just showing that
They're
all
like-
women are queen.
yeah, all
and
women are
men
queen.
pigs.
Men are pigs. Man, can you imagine if a woman abused her? Oh my goodness, what's the
Sheesh.
story? What if them abused her?
That's kind of.
Hey, they put that in there, not me. So they give her some kind of jacket. They give her some makeup.
So
I know
weird.
what the point of this scene is. They're trying to make her look like a prostitute. So these guys are gonna hit on her. So she's outside.
Totally
She-
justified
she's-
then.
So she's asking these women for a phone when they offer her four. It's implied, then the scene cuts, so it's implied that she calls Bruce.
Yeah.
The next scene is she's outside just standing by the bar. A bunch of guys come outside, they're like, "Hey, baby girl."
What up?
This is the scene. The
How you doing?
We've seen it a million times. Bunch of men coming outside of a bar, drunk men harassing a woman.
Dude, look at this white guy. He looks so scary.
Yeah. I've never seen this scenario play out in my life, but hey, this is Hollywood. Like men outside of bars are gonna harass and try to harm women. So
Yeah.
watch out, ladies.
I mean, that's the only thing that they do. So
yeah, that's what they're
Accurate.
known for. What are women? What are men known for? Harassing women. That's the only thing they've ever
that's the
done.
one thing.
So if you see a man in a TV show where a woman is present, he's probably in the midst of harassing her in that same moment. Now I'm gonna be reliant on this.
I
But we
know.
already talked so much. I don't even know like where to go from here. We can definitely skip over a lot more
Yeah.
of what's going on in the next 10 minutes.
So they harass her, but not even like very intensely. I kind of expected something a little more intense, but they kind of were just like
it was
"Hey."
intense in the way that it was escalating when she wasn't it was so unnatural.
Yeah.
It was just unnatural.
Well,
it
it
was
was weird.
completely forced. They're talking to somebody that isn't replying to them. It's like, why are you talking so much to
Right.
somebody that isn't
So
replying?
so they come out and they're like, "Hey, what you doing?" And she's like, "I'm waiting for my ride." And then he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And then she starts walking away. And then the other guy comes up and he's like, "What? You're gonna walk away?" And then she turns into the Hulk and turns around.
Yeah, she's about to beat him into the ground. Probably kill all of them. But they deserve it.
True.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's totally deserved. So then Bruce comes out of nowhere and tackles her, and knocks her unconscious. Whatever. The next
sure.
scene, we have her waking up in the casa. She's in a hut. She goes down. She wakes up. She puts on a Led Zeppelin shirt for some reason. Because Led Zeppelin, you like Led Zeppelin, right?
Well,
and then, of course. And so she goes down into the basement. Bruce is there. He's like, "Oh, sorry. Sorry for what? Playing music?" You know,
So-
it's just irritating to me that
Yeah,
you said
it's
sorry right
kinda
here.
weird.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd get some work done.
Well,
Okay.
that's what you have to do with women.
I apologize. I apologize. Yeah, I
Just
apologize. that
pre-apologize.
I had work to do. I'm sorry I woke you at any point during the day. If you slept at any point and you woke up, that I'm sorry that you woke up. So he starts monologuing about how he's the Hulk again. He's Smart Hulk. No, he didn't give the name to himself
Right.
because Jen is commenting about how stupid the name is, which it is. And oh my gosh, I wish this woman would shut up.
Just constant annoying.
The whole fish out of water thing is non-existent here. She just blabs and blabs. She takes the fact that she is now the Hulk in stride. It hardly affects her in several scenes. In several scenes, she goes, "Oh my gosh, my life is over. I need to get back to my life. I'm not going to let this affect me at all." And then in other scenes, she's like, does not care at all. She's like, "I got this, whatever, Hulk, no big deal."
Yeah.
It's strange. It's really irritating. And then about 13 minutes, no, we forgot this critical line where he's like, "Oh, you're the Hulk now," and he explains that he put their blood together to heal his arm that
Yeah.
was destroyed by the Infinity Stone.
While she was sleeping just now. So now his arm is fixed and he's perfectly fine.
yeah.
He just took her blood while she was sleeping.
Yeah,
Kinda
he
creepy.
says he's analyzing her blood. It's like, dude, when did you draw blood from her? While she was unconscious, I guess, maybe. But it's just a throwaway line. It doesn't mean anything. There wasn't a scene to show him drawing blood from her. You know, he's not. He doesn't even say that he drew blood from her. He just says, I was analyzing your blood."
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird that it's done in this way. And the theme is consistent throughout this whole episode. It is 100 miles per hour nonstop.
Yeah.
It does not slow down or pause for anything. It is just next scene, talking, explaining, monologuing,
Yeah.
exposition for everything.
So he tells her and he's explaining to her how she's the Hulk. She can't leave here. Her life is over. Her life is ruined, and she's like kind of freaking out a little
Well,
bit.
the first
right?
thing she says when she hears about her blood is, "So I'm better than you?"
Yeah. When he mixed him to fix his arm, she's like, "Oh, so I'm better than you." It's like, yeah, okay, that
So
sounds like.
then
a
what
thing a
Smart
woman would
Hulk
say.
does is he destroys this thing that he came up with that healed his arm from being destroyed by the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it's too dangerous to get out there." Whatever that means.
throwaway
This thing
line,
that
yeah.
could probably cure cancer. We're going to destroy it because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
To get out there, whatever that means. It's just a throwaway line to explain something stupid that they're doing.
Just to get rid of this little
yeah,
plot
just
hole.
to get rid
So-
of the plot device.
So then, basically, a great summary of this whole thing. To end this scene out, he explains to her that her life is over and everything is ruined. And so she's like freaking out, and naturally, she would turn into the Hulk. and the music is like building, and it's really intense. And he's like, "Whoa, calm down." And she's like, and then it switches because he's like, "What do you need? What do you need?" And then it switches, and she's eating pancakes.
Because
And I
women
called it.
emotional. She need food.
Yeah. So
Just give women food. That's
That's-
all they need.
one way that she's better than the Hulk.
Yeah.
She can just eat pancakes and sugar and bread, and she'll be fine.
So around 14 to 15 minutes in, we're training. We're already into the
Yep, we're
training
in it.
montage of I think it's around 18 where we get into the actual montage.
Yeah.
And we are wasting absolutely no time. We're going 100% into this, 100 miles
Yeah.
per hour.
So halfway through this episode, he decides to test and see like what turns her into the Hulk, like what amount of stress, right?
Yeah, the same scene from the trailer
Yeah.
with the buzzsaw.
And he tells her it's going to take her like 15 years to figure out how to control it.
Yeah.
And obviously we know that she's better than him, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, there's a theme here. She's better than him at everything.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. But the catch here is that we're implying that we find out that she doesn't have an alter ego. She's normal Jen all the time. We were theorizing that they were going to have to do the procedure that would turn her into Professor Hulk, like Professor Hulk,
Right.
and get rid of her alter ego that takes over when she turns into the Hulk. But she doesn't have
She's
that at
better
all.
than that.
Yeah, she doesn't need that. She's better than that from the get-go. She's the same. What took Hulk 15 years to figure out, she came out like that, basically. So she doesn't have to work for anything at all.
No.
She matches him in every single thing that they try in the training montage. He is telling her that she needs to not be emotional. Where have we heard that before? Ding, ding, ding. Captain Marvel. That was the whole thing in that film is, oh, you need to control your emotions. And by the end of the film, she's like, no, my emotions make me powerful. OMG. So that's obviously a red flag when Hulk is saying that in this show. That, oh, never tell a woman she needs to control her emotions. If you're doing that in Hollywood, in a film or show, we know where you're going.
Yeah.
We know what the message is. We get it. It's boring. It's played out. It's predictable. We could go through every line of dialogue. I would like to, because every line is so sweet in the sense that it is catastrophically bad.
Yeah.
There is not a sentence, there's not a conversation that goes by in the show that isn't men bad, women good. Women have to deal with anger. Men don't have anger. Men don't have to deal with anger.
Right.
That's a ridiculous.
Well, because their
prospect.
lives are super easy and they don't have to deal with anything.
Yeah, that's true. 100% true. Being a woman is very, very difficult. And we're going to be satirical about this because it's so. You, the listener, do not understand how heavy-handed this show is. They are not subtle at all in this script.
No, she gives this monologue.
About how
About-
she's catcalled.
Yeah.
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 So he's telling her that she needs to
be
keep her
careful.
anger in check. Oh, you need to keep your anger in
That she
check.
can't go back to work
Yeah.
in the city because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can because I'm the best at controlling my anger because I get catcalled every day. No, she's not that pretty. She wouldn't.
She has incompetent men explain to her area of expertise, is what she says.
Yes.
And she has to deal with that anger every single day. And what does she do right afterwards? She loses her temper.
Yes.
She actually loses her temper quite often, but she doesn't turn into She-Hulk
Right.
until it's convenient for the show. There are multiple scenes that don't make any sense together. The
Yes.
first time she turns into She-Hulk, the first time she goes from She-Hulk back to Jen is a cut that they do not explain at all.
Yeah, it's super weird.
It's implied that it's because she slept, but it's not
But
executed
it's like
very
the
well.
end of the day, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, let's go to bed. And then it cuts to the next scene, to the next day or the next week or whatever. We don't know. It's so weird and badly put together.
Yeah, so you have
Kind of like this video.
it gets really difficult to not facepalm and turn the TV off when you have this imbecile of a woman telling the Incredible Hulk, who has killed people due to his anger, when controlled by Wanda in Age of Ultron. He has done terrible things. He has lived his life terrified of becoming the Hulk, in fear of hurting innocent people.
Yeah.
And what does she say to him in her monologue? Hulk's anger is nothing compared to a woman's everyday life.
So true.
Is what she says in her monologue to him. And the audacity of this show to even go down this road, it's hysterical.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. It's insulting. It's really, really, really insulting to a character that we've seen in films struggle with his alter ego and his anger. That's his whole thing. That is his entire character.
Yeah.
And Jen comes along, She-Hulk comes along and says, oh, that's nothing compared to just being a woman every single day. It's incredibly insulting. And then we get to the fight.
Yeah. So so she's like, all right, I've had enough. I have a life to go back to, so I'm going to go. And obviously Hulk is like, okay, you still can't control, like, turning into the Hulk. So this is a terrible idea, right? Because it doesn't matter that you don't have an alter ego. You will still get angry, and you will absolutely accidentally kill people.
Yes.
Because women
And Hulk is
emotions.
totally justified in this because he is responsible. If he lets her go and she ends up hurting people, he is responsible for that.
Absolutely.
So then what happens?
So she decides she's gonna leave, and so she climbs up into his big Jeep, and he's like, "No, you're not leaving." So he stands in front of this Jeep, and she's like, "Yes, I am." So she runs him over. He like stands in front of it
Yeah.
and puts his hands on the Jeep, and then she runs him over and throws him into a pile of rocks, like as if the Jeep could even move the Hulk. Right?
Yeah.
It's just
This
ridiculous.
little V8,
Yeah.
maybe a V8.
So then she like
old
stops
gas
like
Jeep, old gasser, just
Yeah.
like plowed over, like move over Thanos. You're nothing compared to the power of Jeep.
They should have used Jeep Wranglers to kill Thanos. That would have done
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
No, but so she pushes him out of the way, right, with the Jeep, and then for some reason she stops because she's like worried she hurt
I want
him
a
or
Jeep in the
something.
thumbnail now.
Jeep beats Thanos.
Yeah.
So she stops after she pushes him over for some reason, like because she's worried about him or something, and then he gets up and he's like, "Oh, that was a dick move," because she said that earlier.
Yeah.
And then she says some more stupid crap. And
Everything she says is stupid
oh,
crap.
so she turns into the Hulk and she punches him in the face.
She gets
So-
angry, which she
Yes.
claims over and over that
That
she
she can
doesn't. She is
control.
well in control of her emotions.
But
And
she
all she
doesn't.
does over and over and over is get angry.
Yeah, because he said some things to her, she punched him in the face.
Yeah.
Which a
Which is
human that would have
typical.
caved their face in, they would have died.
Yeah, which is typical women resorting to violence
Yeah.
because you said something that they didn't like.
So then he thunderclaps her.
Yeah.
But then she does it to him like tenfold.
Yeah.
Because she's better.
Well, she just gets pushed back. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't fly into a mountain like he does
Right.
or anything like that. So she kicks his ass. They have this fight. This is completely ridiculous. She-Hulk Jen does not know anything about fighting
Right.
at all because she doesn't have an alter ego that is using brute force and strength to fight like the Hulk does.
Yeah.
Okay? She is just Jen in Hulk body. She does not know how to punch. She does not know how to do any of this stuff.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I guess we're probably supposed to assume that she has taken some kind of self-defense class because obviously men are pigs and you can't.
Yeah, you have to defend
not.
yourself from men. No, it's ridiculous. Hulk, whether I don't know how it would work merging their personalities. Hulk fought Thanos. He
Right.
lost, but he did give him a run for his money, so to speak, on their first go around. Jen has never done anything in her life but be a lawyer, and because she has powers, she can somehow fight the Hulk with 15 to 20 years of experience of being the Hulk and fighting.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's laughable.
He would be stronger than her too.
It's hard to take. Yeah, it's hard to
So.
take seriously. It's impossible to take seriously.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's insulting.
So they fight for a while, and then they break his bar, and then they fix his bar, and then
That
Hulk
that
decides.
he and Tony made.
Yeah, and they just break it, and he's fine, and they fix it.
Yeah, he's not upset that she broke the bar that he made with his friend Tony,
Who's
who is
now
now
dead.
gone.
Yeah,
They're just like, "Oh, you busted my bar. Help me fix it."
yeah, haha, joke.
Yeah.
That's literally the whole show. And then after they fix it, he decides to let her go. After she lost her temper and they fought,
Yeah.
he decides to let her go. So
Even
she
though
leaves.
he's totally justified in everything, you know what she says? I was right about everything that I said, and I'm
Yeah.
totally justified in that. He says, "Oh, so you're doubling down on everything that you did, even though you're apologizing for it." But it's okay because she's a woman. She is right, of course.
Yeah.
So then she goes back to being a lawyer.
And then we cut back to where she started explaining everything at the beginning.
So it's a 25-minute. Wow, there's only 2 minutes left. A 25-minute origin story, basically. So then you get Jen going into her trial that they were practicing for at the start of the show. Talking to the camera, which is very, very annoying.
Yeah.
I
feel like only
Although-
Deadpool can do that.
It's not Deadpool.
Yeah.
It would be more annoying if the rest of the show wasn't so bad. Everything else she says is so incredibly bad that it's not the most annoying thing is her breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
But it's not preferable to me because of the execution. So we go into this courtroom where they're giving their final statement to the jury. Some woman burst through the wall.
Yes. So just
And with no knowledge of anything that's going on, Nikki says to Jen, "You have to turn into the Hulk and kick her ass." So she does that. This female who has super strength or something
something.
throws a desk at the jury for some reason. And then She-Hulk punches her.
Yep. She
Wait.
punches her.
Wait, whoa. She threw the desk at her. It landed on her, and
Yeah.
then she's out from underneath it in
Yep.
the next scene.
Yeah, so she throws the desk at her, and it like
It
kind of
lands
takes
on
her
her.
out, and then all of a sudden she's
This
jump
is
kicking
terrible.
her,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she punches her, and she's out.
One shot, she's being crushed by the desk on the ground, laying down on the
completely
ground.
taken out.
And the next shot, she is doing a flying jump kick towards She-Hulk.
Yeah.
This is shot and directed so incredibly badly, and it's because it's rushed, obviously. Every scene is rushed to the next scene, to the next scene, to the next scene. And that's pretty much how the episode ends, with her doing a superhero act that she was so against doing because it conveniently found her in a courtroom A supervillain showed up in a courtroom in order to force her. You know, she didn't have to save somebody in the streets or make a
Right.
tough decision or go into a burning building like Spider-Man.
Yeah. Or like
Um,
choose not to use her powers and then learn from that mistake. Somebody died or something.
Yes,
That would
exactly.
be
But she
too
was forced to because a supervillain showed up in a courtroom somehow.
Yeah.
Just came through the wall in order to push her onto her journey.
There's absolutely no reason. Maybe she's from the ship. No, it doesn't.
No.
No, she's a regular.
I would like an explanation for the alien ship
Yeah.
that caused all of this to happen.
Well, Hulk said that it was
He'll look
probably
into
trying to
it.
give him a message,
Yeah.
which is hilarious
Maybe it's an
because
Eternals thing.
she could have just like stopped, and then I'm pretty sure she actually said that it hit them, but it actually just kind of flew in front of them, and she drove off the road.
higher than the car.
Yeah.
Higher than the car.
So she swerved
could've
and
just
drove
driven
through the
underneath it.
guardrail, and became Hulk.
Women
She-Hulk.
drivers. So that's episode 1. It's terrible. It's so awful. There's a lot of lines that I wanted to cover that she says that are so atrocious.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I would have to write all of them down to even remember them.
I think it would be a lot of fun just to go back and make an entire video just of
montage, yeah.
everything she says.
Yeah.
Because, it's so bad.
Wow. Yeah, I would like to just read every single line in just like the deadest tone I could muster and say every single feminist bullcrap thing that came out of her mouth. It was bad. It was worse than I ever could have imagined.
Yeah. Man, that was incredible. I didn't think it was going to be good, but there are no words.
Yeah. Because there's always this benefit of the doubt in the back of your mind that,
Yeah.
that tells you, oh, it's not going to be as bad as it looks. I know there's a lot of things that gave me that vibe. I thought No Way Home was going to be one of those movies that I didn't like, and it was better than I thought it was going to be based on the trailer. And this I thought was maybe the same type of trailer where I was like, maybe it's leading me in this direction, but it's not going to be so heavy-handed in its content. But this is just saturated in man bad, woman good. And that's not an exaggeration.
No,
At
that was
all.
literally the entire thing.
It's not just the content, it is the purpose of the show.
Yeah.
It's the purpose of the character, Jen, is that she is a woman, and that is good. And there are men in her life, and they make her life worse, much worse. And she has become She-Hulk, and she is way better at Hulk at everything that they do.
Yeah.
It's insulting. And this has got to be the lowest point. This
I
is
can't
the
wait
lowest
until
point.
Matt Murdock comes in and tries to mansplain her, and she's like, "I'm actually a better lawyer than
Oh my
you are,
goodness.
and a better superhero."
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Wow. That
gonna
is
happen.
definitely a bright spot because I thought this was going to be incredibly boring and Daredevil was just going to be this bland mark in the blur, basically. But this is so incredibly bad that Daredevil could definitely be a bright spot.
Yeah.
More so than I thought before.
It'll be interesting because if they like play into like because they're both lawyers, they kind of meet each other as regular people, right? And they're kind of working maybe against each other or together or whatever it is.
That would be some interesting conflict.
Yeah.
There's 8 episodes, so hopefully it's something.
But
like I said,
they
most of
couldn't-
everything we saw was 80% of the trailers.
Yeah. So we really have no idea what's going to happen. But they couldn't go against each other because Matt Murdock, if they like stay true to his character, because he only takes like really good cases, and she's a woman, so she can't get it wrong. So
No, she's going to work for an evil law firm, representing bad
Oh.
superheroes. She's going to represent supervillains, probably. for some reason.
Interesting.
Trying to convict them, maybe. Who knows?
Huh.
We'll find out next week. She-Hulk episode 2. I can't wait. I'm so
Cannot
excited.
wait.
I can't wait for however many more one-liners we get about how terrible men are. So that was our review of She-Hulk episode 1. If you liked what you heard and want more, like and subscribe. And we'll be back
You said
next
it.
week. We got a lot of other stuff that we want to cover, including video game reviews, and movies coming out new and old that we want to do reviews on. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, if you liked the video and the review, then let us know down in the comments.
Like a pro YouTuber. All right.
I've listened to a lot of YouTube. I know how to do it. I've heard it in so many different variations. I was bred for it.
The only thing that would make you better is if you were a woman.
That's true. Oh man, I can feel the misogyny just dripping from my lips. The sexism. Oh my goodness. If she
All
was here
right.
in the room, she'd just beat us up for the thing between our legs.
True.